You are listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
What's going on, everybody?
What?
Welcome back to No Other Pod. I'm Jimmy, as always, with my good buddy Dan. And Dan, it's not a victory pod this week because
it is. It is a victory pod.
Well,
for
a
us.
different reason. For us.
For us.
U.S. men's national team didn't win, but if you are listening to this, you saw in the episode description the title already. It's a victory pod for us because we have none other than sporting legend Graham Zusi joining us on the show this week.
You wanted national team news. How about we just go ahead and bring on a former national team player? That's what we're waiting on.
Oh, my God. It's been too long. And, you'll hear the interview in just a little bit. He gave us a little crap for waiting, and it's my fault.
In trouble.
That we waited too long to get Graham Zusi on. So that's on me. I will take the blame.
Right.
But he was a blast.
We'll talk about it here in a bit, but
yeah.
I'm excited for you guys to hear this.
It was a great time. Much appreciation to Graham. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But Dan, how's it going with you? I know World Cup still ongoing, but just not for the U.S. men's national team anymore. What was your experience like watching that?
Not for the Stars and Stripes, man. My experience was I made an event out of my Saturday morning. Yeah. I was just like, all right, get the workout out of the way. Oh, I got time for a shower before the game starts. Yeah. And wasn't a great game. I mean, it was stressful. And for a moment, it was like, oh shit, there's promise here. And then again, never mind.
It was oh God, it was such a so if you were gonna ask me in a moment of honesty, do I think we're gonna win? And I think we talked about this maybe the episode before. Probably not. Now, I don't think it was impossible.
No, it wasn't impossible. We shouldn't have won that game.
This was definitely a case of a country that's more established in their soccer program, showing us that, we have some steps still to take.
Two former Man United players scoring.
And I think I said last week Netherlands might have won a World Cup. I was wrong, but they've been runners up like 2 or 3 times. Which I think I was remembering them being in the final.
Couldn't quite get there.
So they know what it takes to get very far into this tournament. Now, we're also one of the, if not the youngest team in the tournament, at least that was still left at this stage. So I think there are things overall to take from this World Cup experience to build on in the next 3.5 years before we come to North America. But I don't, man,
that's here.
It's
coming here.
3.5 years. Kansas City.
Oh man, it'll be crazy.
You
saving? You start that savings account?
Yeah, for real. I was actually talking about this with a coworker. He's like, "How much a ticket's going to be?" And I was like, "Well, that depends if we get a U.S. game or not." Which they're probably going to leave the U.S. games for like, I don't know, maybe Columbus because they love Columbus, but New York or L.A. Who knows? But if we get a U.S. game,
how much will those be?
$400 or $500 a ticket resale, I would guess at least.
Why resale? Oh, because there's a lottery system.
You're not going to get Yeah, it's going to be next to impossible.
You think it's next to impossible? Why?
I mean, maybe
lottery's lottery, bro.
As a season ticket member, you might have an inside track for Sporting KC or the KC Current. I don't know. I just imagine there's so many corporate sponsors and whatnot that are going to be getting tickets. It's probably going to be tough.
Oh, so the fans don't get to go?
I mean, it's FIFA.
That's crazy. Sports doesn't matter. All of you listening, sports is a game.
I mean, it's like the Super Bowl. It's mostly just like corporate partners and sponsors and whatnot. Like there's some face value tickets.
Is what it is. I go to the Super Bowl. You know why? Because I have a lot of money.
Right. So, but I mean, hey, I plan on being at a game. Now, if it's a non-US game and a non-Mexico game, because Mexico might be equally as crazy in terms of pricing. I would guess $150 a ticket for just like a random group stage game. Maybe
that's easy. I'd go to a Poland South Korea game.
Sure. Robert Lewandowski might still be playing. Who knows?
I don't care what it is. Like I just, I plan to go. I'm excited. Hopefully we could find a way to get tickets together. Probably not.
We'll do what we can.
We'll see what happens, man.
So maybe we'll invite Graham Zusi. He'll come with us.
My goodness. He asked us what we're doing for the holidays, and we didn't ask him back. I'm sorry, Graham. I wish we were best friends, Graham, but I'm blowing it.
He didn't buy that your hair was modeled after him either.
No, because it's a little shorter now. So I need to go up to shoulder length. Right?
And you need the beard to just fill out a little bit more to be quite like his.
Let's not get crazy. That really can't do that very well. It gets real red. It's like your hair. It's crazy.
Yeah, there you go. Well, let's talk a little bit about this U.S. game. So, I mean,
I guess
the lineup was interesting. If there's criticisms to be had of Greg Berhalter in this World Cup, it's some people were a little bit confused about his roster selection, leaving somebody like Ricardo Pepi off the roster.
Yeah.
Potentially the best striker in the U.S. pool, definitely at least for the future for now, but maybe even right now. Didn't play Gio Reyna or maybe Brendan Aronson even as much as some people thought. There was maybe some, Gio Reyna injury hiccups there. But then you come into this last game, must-win game, like literally must-win, or you're going home. And up top, you start Jesus Ferreira from FC Dallas, who hasn't played a single minute the entire World Cup.
Yeah, it's win or go home situation, but let's put this guy in the racket, see how it goes.
Part of me, honestly, I felt bad for Jesus Ferreira because he did not have a good half.
Yeah.
He did not help the U.S. at all, and I don't think he was set up for success because that's a pretty big ask. It's like, oh, hey, you're a striker, you're on the up and up, you're coming from MLS, you're talented, you haven't played yet, and okay, now go score a goal against Virgil van Dijk and Nathan Ake.
I think I'd be pretty mad at Greg. Like, you want to step to that challenge, but I think I'd be like, why the fuck would you play me? Why would you put me in?
Yeah, they probably. I'm sure he's hyped and whatnot, but it's got to be. I mean, this is the biggest moment of his career.
Yeah,
and he just. I don't know that he was set up for success very well, and so I feel bad from there. Pulisic had the moment of the game early on, 1-on-1 with the Noppert, the giant transformer of a Dutch goalkeeper.
That was quite the tree back there.
He's 6'8", I think.
That's a very large man. I was like, you definitely want to kick it low, right? Make his big ass get on the ground.
Yeah.
Because if it's up in the air or to his sides, he's just gonna go
It's. I mean, it's. I don't know that we would have won necessarily if Pulisic would have put that away, but
it put the pressure on him.
There were some defensive issues later, back post defending. There was just a Dutch quality that.
Giving up a goal to Daley Blind, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
That he doesn't score goals. Like what is that? What's happening?
I mean, it was a cool moment for Daley Blind because he got to run over to his dad, who's on the Dutch coaching staff, and they got to share that moment. So cool for him.
Okay, what do we call that? What's that called when that's nepotism?
Yeah, the U.S. soccer doesn't know anything about nepotism.
No, I don't know what you mean.
But I mean, Memphis Depay, he had just
Depay. You show some respect.
Sorry, Memphis Depay,
and he doesn't go by Depay.
He doesn't.
Did you hear John Strong's story?
I know. Hey, it was an interesting story.
Look,
props to John Strong.
Another one, by the way. How come a lot of deadbeat dads are making great soccer players? They leave their kid, and their kid's like, "I'm Memphis now."
I've enjoyed John Strong on the call more than I've enjoyed
all over
Fox's studio coverage. I don't need Alexi Lawless yelling at me anymore.
Good point. Or John was full of the facts. He always had fun shit.
I love John.
It was the learning corner.
Maurice do. I think there's some guys there that have been doing really well, and then we have Alexi just yelling. And love Landon Donovan. He's a great soccer player, but when his analysis is like, you can't let them score a third goal. I'm like, thanks.
No, Landon. Is that maybe we'll try to win the game too?
But I think this was, the one goal that the U.S. got to pull back a goal, give a little bit of hope. It was from Haji Wright. He got a touch on it. He didn't intend to do what it did. I mean,
sure he did.
If he could have intended it, it would have been absolutely mind-blowingly world class. But he didn't know much about it. He got a touch on it. It kind of bounced behind him, over into the far corner of the net.
I didn't know what happened. I'm glad we get the slow motion stuff because I'm like, did he trip or what? Did the ball get in his way of running?
Yeah. I think potentially, and I don't want to be a total Debbie Downer. I want to talk a little bit more about this and what it means going forward because I think there's definitely things to build on. But I think
4 years from now, though,
3.5.
We got to wait so long, dude. Except women next year, baby.
Women next year. But then we have a Gold Cup coming up. And then before you know it, it's going to be World Cup qualifying cycle again, which thankfully we auto-qualify because we're a host nation. But there's going to be, I think we have games in January again with the U.S. men's national team. There's friendlies that they got to play. This between now and 3.5 years from now, I'm fascinated to see what players that are sort of on maybe a Buzio, a Caden Pierre, the Eric Palmer Brown, the players who are on sort of that U20 team. We got the Olympics between now and then too, that some of our young guys like Yunus Musa are still going to be young enough to play in. Who are we going to continue to develop? Who are some of the younger guys that are on the fringes of making the senior team that might be able to step up and bolster this team for 2026? Because I don't think we can sit here and say we're going to compete to win it necessarily in 2026. But I think it's also fair to say that going out in the knockout round is going to be a disappointment in the round of 16, I should say. It's going to be a disappointment in 2026. You want to at least make the quarters or semis if you can in your home country.
Yeah, they're going to try to go for it all, though. I mean, you're on home soil. You got all your people behind you. Like, they're absolutely going to go balls to the wall. This might be the only chance to actually win it on home soil. That doesn't always happen. So,
yeah.
I'm excited, man. And I think that I'm also excited to see if you and I have maybe some gray hair in about 4 years. That could be fun. Have you had your first yet? What's that been like?
I haven't found one yet. So
haven't. All right. No. Wait till you get them in your facial hair. That's good times.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I think there are things to build on. I don't think Greg Berhalter will be here. I don't think Greg Berhalter will be here maybe even in the January window.
So it'll be Vermees then.
Oh, God. I don't want Peter to leave. I've seen people mention Roberto Martinez, who's stepping down away from the Belgian job, former Everton manager. So, my thoughts on him. There have been people who have thrown out the idea of Jesse Marsch, but I don't know that I'm going to see Jesse Marsch leave a Premier League club to come coach the national team.
Yeah.
Who knows? There's a couple. Tata is available. What sort of a heel turn would that be to go straight from Mexico to the U.S.?
No way that happens.
But I just think this is an exciting time to be a U.S. men's national team fan, because I think there can be so much potential progress in the next few years that we could have a really strong showing if things go right, if we get the coaching hire right, if we can continue to develop some of these players. You got to address striker, though, and you got to find another center back, because it can't be Tim Ream again. So.
Yeah, I mean, but put some respect on that man's name, because he was a blast to watch, and
he was awesome.
Absolutely, and Walker Zimmerman certainly has promise. So,
Carter Vickers has some promise there. It's just who's and it might be CCV and Zimmerman 4 years from now. Who knows? But
so USA can't win the World Cup this year. Name a club you'd like to see win. Does it just not matter to you, or if you had to pick one, is it Croatia, hoping they don't get smacked by Brazil?
I guess Croatia, yeah, because
Brazil's going to absolutely wipe the floor.
I have some Croatian in me. My brother's still trying to become a Croatian citizen, because technically we can be. So, we're Croatia is going to be the underdog, heavy underdog in that game, because Brazil was toying with South Korea in that first half.
That was bananas. Just can you imagine? My wife's boss is Korean, and he's married to a full-on Brazil woman, and I'm like, wow, today must be a rough day in the house.
I mean, it's just, I don't know how you stop that Brazil team. You got Neymar, you got Richarlison, you got Vinicius Jr. I mean, they have just an unreal attack, and that's why they scored 4 goals in like 37 minutes, and then they're like, okay, we can just pump the brakes a little bit.
Let's practice our passing, guys.
Right. I just,
that's what I'm always like. If you're up, let's practice, do some long balls and shit. I
mean, part of me was surprised. I mean, Brazil, on the other hand, maybe they know how it feels, because they were on the loser's end of that German shellacking that was like, what, 7-1, 8-1. So
bad deal. Yeah.
Maybe they know what it's like to beat that other team. So they're like, hey, we got our 4 goals. We're fine.
That will start a war between the countries. If you run up the score like that, holy moly, that was a bad time.
Well, yeah, and you think of all the think pieces that were written about the U.S. women when they did it.
Yeah,
none of those were written about the German men's team when they did it against Brazil.
Exactly.
I don't know. Croatia probably. If the Netherlands went on to win it, I'd be fine. At least we lost to the World Cup champions. So
yeah, for sure.
That's all. That's all. What sort of my thoughts on it. But can't wait for 2026. I'm looking forward to continuing to watch this team grow. So we'll see. But we did talk a little bit with Graham Zusi about that, and we talked with him about the brand new contract that he signed. So should we kick it on over to there?
Well, just preface that contract real fast. That also signing Roger.
That's
and
true.
signing Andrea
Andrea.
Fontas.
That's right.
Fontas for 2 more years, Roger and Zeus for 1. So,
and some people might be a little bit surprised about Fontas if they weren't paying a lot of attention. But I think based on the Nemanja Radoja signing and how they mentioned him talking to Fontas in the article, you could read the tea leaves that he was probably coming back.
yeah,
So,
we were all speculating like hot gossip girls and stuff like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, his friend is on the team.
So, we don't know the contract numbers yet. Curious to see those when they come out next year from the MLS Players Association. It probably won't be $1 million for Fontas like it was this past year, but we'll see.
Probably
And,
significant cuts all around, and
yeah.
still that roster's pretty damn full right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
There'll probably be another center back. I think we got a question from somebody that was saying, Alex Brown says SKC needs a starting center back signing plus perhaps another backup. So, they need somebody who's athletic. They need somebody who can move around. It'll be, we probably have, I guess it'll be Ford or Volater back there next to Fonte, at least right now. So, I'd like to have somebody that Ford's pretty athletic. I like that. Somebody who can get up and be an aerial threat. So
he is, absolutely.
We'll
and he knows what to do to get to the top tier. I'm just kidding. He didn't know that they were illegal fat burners. I'm just throwing that out there.
But I'm excited. Yeah, we probably will get another center back. But overall, I'm happy that we brought back Zusi and Roger for another year with an option for the following year. So probably a team-friendly deal. And Fonte, we got to wait and see what the terms are. But he's got it in him. He had the 1 year in 2021 that was, MLS best 11 quality. Can he get back there? We'll see.
He had those moments this year. Like, people are real hard on a center back when something bad happens, but when he does something great, it's like, we got to look at that. Like, the quality's there.
Yeah. And he got better once the midfield kind of got worked out with Tommy coming in and whatnot. So we'll see.
Totally.
We should kick it to Zeus, right?
Okay. Let's talk to him, man. I'm excited.
All right, y'all. Stick with us after the break to talk to Sporting KC defender Graham Zusi.
Woo!
All right, folks. As promised, we are here with future Sporting legend, current Sporting KC defender, winger, midfielder, all-around utility player extraordinaire, Graham Zusi. Graham, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well. Yeah, thanks for having me. You guys have been going for a while. I don't know why I haven't been on yet, but no, thanks for having me.
Oh no,
I appreciate it.
I have to
right
say,
off the bat,
it's my fault because my work schedule is not quite as flexible. So I'll take the bullets on that one. Dan, as you can see, has been growing his hair out just to emulate you.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Yeah.
So, I guess the obvious first question is, Graham, you are officially back as a Sporting Kansas City player for at least 1 more year. So, how does it feel to officially know that you're going to be back, and what's it like to just sort of have that on the books ready to go?
Yeah, no, I was very first of all, I'm thrilled to be back with the organization, with the guys. But I'm also very very happy that we got it done pretty quickly, and both parties were it's a fairly straightforward process. They let me know that they wanted me back, and to me it's kind of a no-brainer. I've been with this club so long, the relationship has been just great. There's a whole lot of just mutual respect from both sides. So for me, it's a pretty easy decision. Just super stoked to be back, and especially after kind of the difficult year that we had. I'm looking forward to kind of righting that ship, and next year can't come quick enough.
Man, I'm over here marking off questions I had because you're just answering them. But I was going to ask if there was ever any doubt that you would be here. Obviously, you want to be here. Things got done really fast. Did you even anticipate listening to other clubs or offers at all? Did you even think about entertaining that idea?
Not this year at all, really.
Yeah.
Last year it was kind of the first time that I was in the whole free agency market, and I listened to other clubs. First and foremost, I wanted to be here. That was the that was my feeling going into the whole thing. But I didn't want to have any I don't know, I guess regrets in terms of just kind of listening out other teams and um, let's be honest, it feels kind of good to be courted and wanted. So uh, I heard out some other teams, if you will. But ultimately, my goal was to be here in Kansas City for the rest of my career. And so last year, I did that whole thing, got it out of my system, I guess. And this year, there was not even a thought about hearing out some other teams and organizations. And to be honest, I think part of the reasoning for that was just kind of how the season went. I did not want to end it on that note. I think personally, I think I have a lot more to give, and then collectively as a group, just not the standard that we hold ourselves to, and that kind of goes across the board. And I'm looking forward to, I know the work that I've been putting in already in this off season, and I know a lot of the other guys are doing the same thing. So I'm excited for what's to come. We'll get some guys back from injury, and then with the couple additions we made towards the end of last year, I think we have a very solid group.
So you mentioned the off season, and I'm sure the off season, especially for soccer players, conditioning and whatnot, is filled with a bunch of training, staying in shape. Maybe this one was a little bit different since you had the contractual negotiation. But when the season ends and you're in the off season, is there like a vacation or something that you're like, man, now finally I got time, someplace you got to go just to take a week or whatnot and just sort of clear your mind? And where is that?
No, absolutely. I think, the soccer season it's long, it's brutal. It takes a toll on you physically and mentally. So for me, I almost force myself to get away from everything. For I'd say if I have a long off season, kind of like we do this year, I'll give myself 2 weeks to just kind of clear my head, let my body, I guess, just kind of take a step back and a sigh of relief almost from the long year. And so I did a couple smaller trips this year, nothing crazy. I went out to Utah. My brother lives out there. He's a big outdoorsy kind of guy as well. So
Nice.
We just go up into the mountains and kind of get lost and do some things, outdoorsy fun activities that we both enjoy. I was down in Mexico for a few days as well, just to get some warmth in the beach as well. And then back at it. Came back and I think, gosh, 2 days after I got back from that one, I was hitting it pretty good and hard. I've talked about it many times before, but I love the off season, and what you can do to prep yourself for a full MLS season. You're able to do some things that you're not quite able to do in season, in terms of kind of some of that gym work and just kind of the strength program and conditioning that we do. So for me, it's a chance to really kind of set the framework to make yourself last a full MLS season. And for me, at the ripe old age that I am, it becomes more and more important. So I love the process of it, and to me, that's I think is the reason I've been able to do this for so long.
Man, I know watching you out there, like you're systematic in things, in your warm up, in your cool down. Like you have to be. You can't be this 19-year-old kid and just don't even warm up. You know what I mean? But you do have a young guy kind of in your same spot who got a lot of playing time this year. Shaking his head. He's like, I see where we're going here.
No, I love it.
Well, I mean, Caden Pierre, man, and I know you don't. You probably don't pay attention to social media or anything like that.
Not a whole
People,
lot.
yeah, searching your name, because why would you ever do that? A lot of people think it's Caden's position, and Jimmy will bring that up on here because people will send us questions, and I say, you're doubting Graham Zusi? You doubt him every year, and he comes back and takes the position. It's yours to lose. So I mean, but what's it like competing with Caden Pierre on a daily basis?
I love and I need the competition, and it hasn't just been Caden in the past year. It's all the years before that as well. There's always competition for spots, and as soon as you assume that it's yours to be had, then you're I don't know. I just, that whole mentality has never been the case for me. So I'm going into the season very much in the same mentality that I have pretty much every single year of my career, and that's, I need to compete for that spot. It is absolutely not mine to be had. I think. Yeah, I mean, I love the competition. KP is an insane young talent. There's no question about it. And I'm not naive to the fact that I will be doing this for the rest of my life. There's a timeline on this profession, unfortunately. So when that time comes, I am very comfortable and proud of the fact that I know it'll be going into some very good hands, in KP, very capable hands. So I'm excited to see what he brings in the next few years. I mean, you forget how young some of these guys still are, and it's amazing where they are at this point in their life, because when I was that age, when my kind of generation was coming through, those young guys were few and far between. I mean, that just wasn't happening. So to see that happening now is pretty cool. And KP is a guy who's got all the tools to be a very, very successful player.
And he's got you passing some down to him as well. Like, couldn't have a better mentor in Graham Zusi.
No, and that's something that I take pride in as well. I was fortunate enough to have some older guys when I was young who didn't have to take me kind of under their wing, but did, because they cared about the future of the club and the legacy that they created and helped maintain. And I'm the same way. I want to leave this club in a better situation than I came in with, and that goes with the culture, the mentality of the group, and the success of the club. So I take so much pride in that, and I think that's, I guess, another benefit of having some of these old senior citizens on the team, for sure.
We had Raj on not that long ago, and he was talking about how it's interesting having some of you around who have been with the team for a while, and then some of these young guys who are coming up, whether it's KP or Buzio when he was here, Cam or whatnot. What's like one thing that illustrates like the generational divide? Is it like music, or is it like Fortnite that they're up until 2 a.m. playing?
Language.
Like, what's the biggest thing where you're like, damn, these kids are so much younger?
Yeah, it's a few things. I think that the fact that I've been in that setting for so long, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's an absolute generational gap there. But I was in the same boat as well. So you can't fault them at all for it.
No.
It's just kind of how it is. sometimes I'm frustrated by it because of just my where I'm at in life at the moment, and it's almost like you hate to do it, but it's like, oh, if I would have known what I know now, I would have done this. But you can't.
Back when I signed.
You're right. Yeah. You can't do that though. I mean, these kids are figuring it out in their own way, and I can try to help as much as possible and be there to answer questions or give them hey, listen, come on, like what you're doing, you know that's not what it's going to take to get to the next level. So I'm allowing them to go on their own journey and find themselves as well, but also there for when they need it.
Well, and the support structure from not just the club, but the league is probably light years ahead now
Oh my
for
gosh,
some of
yeah.
these young kids than when it was when you were first coming into the league.
Oh, no question about it. There's all sorts of rookie young player symposiums that are available now. I mean, you literally name it, and there's something available. It's actually something that the league's doing that I'm pretty impressed about. Just giving guys tools, outside of soccer. Anything that they may be interested in across the board is available. So
Awesome.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Graham, obviously back to soccer a little bit, obviously the year didn't start how you wanted. It wasn't very consistent results, so to speak, but it really picked up once Tommy and Agata got in there, and they came in a team fast, right? So
Yeah.
what do you expect from this team going forward? We're all very excited for 2023. You also presumably have a healthy Polito and Gotti Kinda coming back into the mix. You guys got to be just firing on all cylinders, just ready to get back to training camp,
Yeah, no, I again, like I said, I'm excited to get back and get to work. Just because we have a full roster available does not mean we're going to automatically be successful, right? So we'll set the tone pretty early in preseason, I think, to put ourselves in a really good spot to be successful. And typically, the mentality in preseason is actually it's very strong from the group. That will have to continue, and then once season hits, yeah, it's going to be being more consistent. You talk about that. Let's call it the pre Agata and Tommy phase, where we'd put together a really good half or bits of a game, but the consistency wasn't there, So getting back to playing a solid full game, and then it'll bring the results that we need. I think that was the frustrating part of this season, is that you saw so many glimpses of really good, typical sporting KC soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And the frustrating thing is that it would last a half, and then for whatever reason it would kind of fade. But so yeah, getting back to just that consistency across the full game will lend some better results and put us in a good spot. Because yeah, like you said, I mean, we finished the year on an absolute tear. I mean, That's what was kind of bizarre. Something that I've never really experienced before is how hot we were kind of going into that playoff time.
Well, it looked like you were having fun, Graham. You guys were just having fun again.
Well, winning's fun, right? So that helps. But typically the teams who are trending upwards leading into a playoff time, they do well in playoffs. They make it to the final. Look at Seattle and their kind of heyday. Seattle during the year they were fine. They hung around. They were right there. but come playoff time, they were trending upwards always, and then they make it to the final. That's what it felt like on our end. But for it to be that, and then not like the playoffs, it's just like, doom. It's just like this drop off. It just felt really, really bizarre. Something I'd never kind of experienced before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine that's tough. We had said before on the pod, if there's like 3 more weeks in the season, SKC would be in that playoff position, and nobody would have wanted to play SKC in the postseason.
No. Well, I would have taken us against any team in the playoffs this year. I mean, it was just that team was just so different from the beginning of the year. I was like, I don't even know these guys, but most of them are the same guys.
Yeah. So no, it's amazing what a little confidence and kind of that group mentality where everyone was fighting for everyone. It was, it's not like the teams we were playing were rubbish or other teams just started giving up. It was just, the group was in a really good spot mentally. And when that happens, you're tough to beat.
I want to get your thoughts on the World Cup as a World Cup vet here in just a few moments. But before then, we had Seth Sinovic on a little while back, and he had mentioned that playing at that left back position, he thought he might get yelled at by Peter Vermees more than anybody else because he was always just there right next to Peter, at least for a half. So now you're his counterpart on the right side. I imagine it's probably a similar experience for you. And do you have any suitable for air Peter Vermees stories that you can say from being so close to him?
I don't know what Seth's talking about. I've never been yelled at my whole career.
Also, why does Jimmy keep naming people we've had on before you? This is a slap in the face.
Yeah, right?
I won't stand for this. That's messed up.
I know you're going to have the kit man on.
That's true.
You haven't had the kit man on, have you?
We did have the kit man on.
Early on, before we got big enough to get players on.
Little did you know, Graham's been aware of us for a while. He was just waiting for an invitation.
It scares me every time.
I've been telling Jimmy for years, to be honest. I'm like, dude, Graham Zusi, big deal.
So that's always kind of been an ongoing joke with Seth, that you kind of dread, you're vying for the which half you're going to be on Peter's side. But no, it's funny. So obviously Pete and I know each other extremely well and have a great relationship. And there are times where, and this is, it's got to be difficult for him to be watching on the sideline, especially as an ex-player, because you want to be out there so bad. So there are times where he can become a little bit like he's playing a video game where he wants to control everyone. But so like if I'm opening up to get a ball, and I'm playing with my instincts or whatnot, and then a ball's coming to me, and I'll hear Pete right a couple yards behind me telling me to do something where I had a thought where I was out, as the ball's coming, okay, I'm doing this, and then he'll tell me to do something else, and you almost you feel the necessity to do what he does.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you do that, the ball will go through your legs, and I was just so I turn around and just give him a look, and he's like, all right,
damn it, Peter.
That's fantastic. Hey, you have the luxury of being able to give him a look, probably, since you've been here long enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too comfortable, but
yeah,
we have a pretty good relationship. So
good enough where you might kiss him like Willie did.
Ooh. Did he kiss him or did he choke him?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a little bit of both. There's a funny picture of that. I was at our they put it on one of our monitors at the practice facility for a week after that happened.
At least they didn't put. Did they put the video on where Peter fell on the sidelines? Was that on the?
Yeah, if people value their job, they won't do that. So
I was scared to tweet about it. I was like, what if Peter sees this? Graham, you got St. Louis City coming into the league next year,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of interested in what your personal take is, and maybe what the feeling is on the team as a whole. But there, can it be a rivalry if there's been no games yet? Is it just being geographical and down the
There's been a
highway?
game.
Was that?
We play them in Open Cup, and it was amazing.
Fair
It was
enough.
incredible. Their fans were fantastic. They came and they were so loud.
Good point.
But to answer, I sorry I cut you off.
No, you're
but
fine.
to answer your question, I think absolutely. I think expansion teams these days come in with almost a cult following before the team plays a game, which is great for the league, of course. But I think the league has been trying to force rivalries with us. That we had the Salt Lake thing for a while, we had Houston for a while. Now they're trying to do Minnesota, and it doesn't feel real yet, right? But I think this St. Louis one will absolutely feel like a rivalry. And really, all I have to go on that is the one game we played, and to me that was the atmosphere was electric. Their fans they came in, and to their credit, to our stadium, and they were super loud. And I scored that game, so that was kind of a bonus. So,
well, your fans will travel. I mean, SKC fans will show up
for sure,
and that'll be easy peasy.
No, that's exactly right. I think it's you guys have, or the fans have always traveled super well to the Colorado games. That for me, having the road draw and go out to Colorado. I mean, really, across the league, sporting fans show up incredibly well. I think this one, just the ease of access will be a lot of fun.
For sure.
Yeah.
You represented the United States of America at a World Cup. You've been a U.S. men's national team mainstay for quite a while. Obviously, U.S. just got knocked out of the World Cup. But first, before we maybe get into that just a little bit, when you were representing the United States at the World Cup in 2014, what's it like stepping onto the field in the biggest sporting event in the world, representing your country, knowing you're one of, a couple dozen at most people who are getting that opportunity once every 4 years?
Oh man, it is. It's easy to allow the moment to kind of take over you, and then become a little bit lost in it. So I remember being very intentional in, stepping on the field and kind of looking around and trying to take it all in, but then allowing that to give you, I guess, more energy and more. I don't know. I think the best way to describe it is that you can become lost in the moment and then almost forget, what even happened. But no, the U.S. fans down there were so they traveled so well that every game almost felt like a home game, and so that really fed you and drove you on, and those games were just they were so incredible, and especially with the group we had, that was a brutal group, with Ghana, Portugal, and Germany, and to get through that group was an amazing feeling, and then being so close with Belgium the next round was heartbreaking. I mean, I remember thinking about, when I was watching the guys this past weekend, how it's another really bizarre feeling of they're on such a high, going through the group stage, and then you get through the group stage and you play that next game. There's so much hype around it, and then you get knocked out and you're flying home the next day.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I played a sporting game, I think 4 days later here in Kansas City. And it's like, it's weird coming down from that like ultra high of your career, really. So,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, the experience was amazing. I mean, you know, that's the peak in the soccer career. Representing your country at a World Cup is, I mean, gosh, you write that as your dream in your elementary school classes, you know. So it's insane when that comes to fruition.
And you got assists?
Got a couple of assists, yeah. It's
pretty cool.
No, it was just one of those moments where you no chance you'll ever forget it. It's funny. I was thinking the other day that I've never watched one of those games back. And as I was watching this World Cup, I've never watched a game back, and it's something that I think I'd probably like to do, because there's probably moments in the games that you kind of forget. You're like, oh yeah, this happened. And then seeing, I guess the fan side of it would be kind of fun to see, because I've been so into this World Cup. And I've been a super fan. It was so fun to see our boys do well, because I mean, I think they did do very, very well for, I guess, how inexperienced the group was at something at that level. So I think they handled themselves extremely well, and I was fanboying pretty hard.
Yeah. You mentioned trying to come down from the World Cup when you get back in town and everything. Sporting wasn't going to let you and Beasler come down at all, because they signed you to lucrative deals. And you guys were kind of the poster guys for Kansas City soccer, and I would say you helped bring more eyes to the Sporting brand. I know that because I didn't start supporting soccer till 2014. Went to a game once. You and Beasler were the guys in the national team World Cup year. And what's that feel like to be one of the guys that probably helped bring in thousands of more viewers, man, more Sporting fans for life, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. I guess I never viewed myself as that, if you will.
Minsky's spokesperson, you mean?
Oh gosh, it had to come up, huh? It had to come up. But no, I I guess looking back on it now, I feel very fortunate to, I guess, have a small part in this club's history, and helping bring it to what it's become. Because I've always said that I feel very fortunate to have seen kind of the full spectrum of what is now Sporting. Because I was playing in Community Miracle Ballpark, where if I had to use the restroom during a game, I was waiting in line with fans, which is
nobody let you cut.
To think about. No, it was wild. I was in there with my full kit, waiting for a public bathroom. It's insane, but yeah, to see where it is now, and to have been there kind of every step of the way, I don't know. That's special for me.
One more before we let you go, and thank you again for sticking around with us. You mentioned how much it's grown since those Community America days, and now we're sort of marching toward what might be one of the biggest accomplishments in Kansas City soccer history, which is hosting a World Cup game in 2026. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for the U.S. men's national team to build on the success they had in this cup between now and 2026? And what do you think it'll be like for Kansas City to have such a world event here in our hometown?
I couldn't be more excited about it. I think it's well deserved. I think some people think this was kind of a I don't know. I've heard random things about how Kansas City might not deserve it, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I think we're an incredible host city. That's what Kansas City does best for me. The community, the people, they thrive off of that. So I'm so excited for it. I think that you can already see like the city almost changing in order to become a better host. And yes, there will be things that we have to do to accommodate such a big event, but we'll do it. There's no question about it. We'll do whatever we have to be the best host city out there. I'm my first memory of World Cup soccer is that '94 World Cup that we hosted. It's kind of my introduction to that level, and I was actually so Orlando, where I'm from, was a host city as well, and I was in the opening ceremonies of the first match in Orlando.
Oh wow!
So it's kind of funny how it has all come full circle.
That's awesome.
But no, I couldn't be more excited for the city. I can't wait to see everything that they put together to make it just an incredible spot. And you can best believe that I'll be in Kansas City wherever I am in my walk of life for that tournament.
That's awesome. Do you think the U.S. men's national team is on the right trajectory to sort of make some noise in a few years?
Yeah, no question about it. I think you saw some really good glimpses this tournament, and then the team is so young that all of those guys, and I'm sure there'll be another crop coming up in the next 4 years. But to have the kind of the core group having that tournament experience now is going to be huge come the next one. So I was very proud of the group. I think we all maybe were disappointed is not the best word, but we saw such a strong showing in that opening round that we almost maybe we were a little spoiled, but we expected them to give Holland maybe a little bit better game, but no, I think that's only going to motivate this group, and I think that at the end of the day, they'll especially on home soil with some home fans, they can make a really good push.
It's awesome.
Well, you said you'll be there in 4 years,
for
and
sure.
Of course you will. You'll still be right back for Sporting Kansas City.
Oh man,
Tom Brady on the field.
Yeah.
I got one last thing for you, Graham.
Yeah.
I'm 36 myself and like to dabble in a little recreational soccer. But what's the secret sauce, man? It's Pilates, right? You're doing Pilates on the reg?
Pilates? I've never done Pilates.
No.
So I do. I don't go to yoga, but I have a nightly little routine where just some stretches, some activation and whatnot. I don't want to give too many secrets away, but I'll let you know in person maybe.
I knew you had a routine, man. I'm trying to get a routine so I'm not sore all the time.
Yep. It's huge.
I love that.
Awesome. Well, Graham, hey, thanks again so much. We'll do it again, and it won't take as long.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm just giving you crap, but I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
We've been building up to the True Club legends. We had Roger last time, and now you. So we just had to.
Good save.
Well, Graham, thank you so much, and
thanks,
hey,
brother.
Best of luck in 2023. We'll all be out there cheering for you, and can't wait to see what this team does next year.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
You take care.
Take it easy.
Sweet.
All right, y'all. That was
Whoa.
future sporting legend Graham Zusi.
Whoa. And current best friend, Graham Zusi. Oh my God. Can you
Like
believe
I
it?
said, he gave us a little crap for waiting as long as we did. And you know, hey, we've said this before. It always scares me when people are like, yeah, you've been around for a long time. We know who you are. And I'm like, oh God.
When he said that, I was like, God damn, Jimmy. God, I told you we needed him. And sometimes, you know what, guys, I am getting tired of like being right all the time. It is
Yeah.
like a curse. And I'm like, it hurts me physically with joyous pain.
Yeah, it should. I mean, you
know what you said?
What?
You said to him, he's growing his hair out like
did.
you.
I
And
threw
I
you
got
out
so
under the bus
embarrassed.
real fast.
I was like, nuh-uh. And and absolutely am, right?
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed. I go, no, yeah, right.
I just like long hair.
And Graham goes, yeah, I'm sure that's the reason. And I was like, yeah.
You're like, I've said it on podcasts before. Maybe you haven't listened.
He's like, no, I just know you've been around. You think I would listen to that trash?
It's hey, he was super fun to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, he understandably after games sometimes he's very well media trained. He knows that like I don't need to say
Clearly.
anything crazy. And but I mean,
he answered stuff that I didn't even ask yet. I was like, God damn, well, that question's gone.
I did enjoy that he kind of admitted though that when he's back there defending against near Peter, for whichever half he's near Peter, that sometimes he'll turn and give Peter a look and be like, "What the hell, man?"
Oh, this 100%. Everyone listening right now needs to know that if Graham makes a mistake on the soccer field, God forbid, it's Peter's fault. Peter told him.
Oh, he said.
Peter told him, and it made Graham confused, and he took a bad touch. Peter's fault.
That's not quite what he said, but
what I'm saying.
Right.
So we're easier on the Z-Man. All right.
I am gonna look though, because it makes sense. I mean, Graham's been around for a long time. He's got his instincts. He's got his philosophy. He knows what he should do with the ball and whatnot. I am gonna look next time he's receiving a ball near Peter. If he kind of gives Peter a little look or whatnot, if there is an error, that's going to be the first thing I look for. Is always giving Peter a look. Did Peter tell him to do one thing and it threw him off?
So funny. You're always trying to get that inside hot goss with Peter, dude. It's so great. I love it.
Well, and, you know, and I wanted to open him up a little bit. So that's when he was like, oh, yeah, when Willie kissed him, we had a big old picture up in the locker room for like a week.
I had to mention the slip and slide, bro.
And he cracked up when we were talking about Peter spinning around and falling down.
Oh, that's the best, dude.
It's just so grateful to Graham for coming on. And
yeah. From his home, I assume.
Yeah.
He's not like in the office today at the training center. He's at home and was like, let me get this ficus in the shot so I can have a feng shui setup.
Well, and it's all, speaking of World Cup, it's also cool to be able to hear directly from somebody who had that experience. So you get kind of both the player experience, but you also get the fan experience, because he's like, I'm watching right now and I'm cheering it on as a fan. It's wild to me. He's never gone back and watched any of his 2014 games.
Dude, I about cried. Like when he was saying how serious it was, I was just like, yeah,
I pledge allegiance.
I wanted to stand up and be like, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
I just imagine on the video version, we just zoom in on Graham and you just see a waving flag behind him and you just hear the big brass band come up behind him.
If Tucker could edit some of that in, I'm sure he's got no time for it. Did you even catch my AMC Nicole Kidman reference?
But no, Graham, hey, appreciate it. Super thankful. So
super thankful, dude. And trying to hang out with us for the holidays. I'm not sure if you got that vibe. That's exactly the vibe I got.
Yeah, he did ask us after, what are we doing for the holidays? And I was like, you're too nice.
I blew it. Graham, if you listen to your interviews, which you probably don't because you don't even watch your own games, but like I wanted to ask you what you're doing for your holidays. I was like, don't be weird, Dan. Don't be weird.
You want to come over for a vegan Christmas with me?
Dude, he would be like, yes. Is it like good vegan food? I'd be like, are you nuts? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we get through one episode without saying I'm vegan? Like, this doesn't have to. What do we do this for?
It's your brand. It's your brand.
It's not my brand.
It's Vegan Dan. That's what your Twitter handle is going to be now.
Wow. VD. Good stuff. VD. Love it.
No. Appreciate Graham. Appreciate those at the club who made that happen. And looking forward to watching Graham and the rest of the guys in 2023. I think it's clear that they're ready to work, and next year's going to be a good year.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to cut my hair a little shorter. Yeah.
I think that's most of what we have. There's not a whole lot of other sporting news this week. We talked about the new signings, the re-signings, and there's probably going to be more signings coming in the next so odd weeks. But did you say who your World Cup team is that you have left since the U.S. isn't in there?
I got like 4. I don't like to say them because they're like all the white countries, and I'm trying to be an ally and shit. But like,
yeah.
I get into this heritage bullshit, and I'm like, Switzerland, sure, the whitest freaking white guys.
You did your 23andMe, and you're looking at your.
Of course,
so
of course okay. You do that. You're like, all of a sudden, I feel 98% Belgian.
Well,
but I'm a loser now.
Yeah, there you go. And then the next day, your Belgium kit arrives.
I'll tell you this: whoever wins between the England and France game, that's who I'd like to see go all the way.
There is a part of me that thinks it would be interesting to see England go all the way, although I don't want them to have that because England's fan base is not great.
Yeah, it's not like we live there. We don't know.
No, but I just, they're annoying.
Yeah.
So if France went back to back, that'd probably be annoying too. I don't think Croatia will get there, but if they could get there and avenge their loss from last time, that'd be fun. So
root for Netherlands. I usually, if a team I like loses in a tournament, I usually cheer for that team that beat my team.
Orange is my favorite color. So
there you go.
It's
new black.
Well, thank y'all so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Thanks again to Graham Zusi for coming on the pod and joining us. We'll have him back again soon. But make sure you leave that 5-star rating and review. If you haven't yet done so, do that on Apple Podcasts or leave a 5-star rating on Spotify. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Dan Kooser, at JCMac03, at NoOtherPod. You can shoot us an email, nootherpod@gmail.com. But until next time, he's Dan. I'm Jimmy. We'll catch y'all later. See ya.
Did I come off too strong to Graham?